G'day enthusiasts and welcome back to another episode of Rob's Shed. This is my 1934 Ford Coupe Ute project, and it's a design on the go, on the fly sort of project, and I've been working on these inside panels for the Ute body. Now this is the structure, this is the skeleton of the car, and you can see by the weld in here I've changed this. Originally I put the panel on, marked it on the wheel arch, and unfortunately my bead roller is out of action at the moment, and that would have made a really nice edge to run around there. So I did it on the Pull Max using one of my tipping dies and the little quarter rod fence on the back of it. Now it's not a super accurate way with the Pull Max, and one of the big drawbacks of Pull Max work is it always would like to run in a straight line instead of going around a corner. So what would have worked better would have folded a fence and either screwed it or tacked it onto the sheet and put my tooling right up against a sheet metal fence, and that would have worked really accurately. But this actually started off really well here, and by the time we got round here I had about a 4mm gap, so about 3/16 of an inch. So naturally that's too much room to actually be able to do anything with it. So I just folded this, ran the stretcher around this edge here, spread it around into the arc to match the wheel arch, and then I've welded it to the panel. Now because this is a design on the go, I'll probably make a new one of these and I'll tip the edge with the bead roller and get a nice accurate panel, but I'll press on with this one in the meantime because it will give me a sequence to build it from. I want to do some artwork on it with the bead roller and probably the Pull Max, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut most of this piece out in here where it's inside the back of the car, and I'll put a little strengthening rib around the opening, and then the boards that will form the inside of the body will be glued to this panel. We've also got the line where the back wall of the cab is going to bolt to this panel. So that back wall of the cab will come out, hold the wall boards in place so it'll step around it, and it will need a sequence of nuts welded into here, which will be little sleeve nuts that will weld on this side and they'll poke through the panel. Then the boards will be drilled to fit over those, and then once the wall goes up beside it, a bolt will go through and it will sandwich the panel in onto the back wall and clamp the boards in place. Now because this is a 1934 Ford, just come around here with me, and we all know that Ford put these wonderful pressings in the cars for strength, and they are artistic as much as they are strengthening in the car. So we've got these really nice X's in here, we've got this zigzag line that runs across the top of the firewall, and because I've copied what Ford has done on their later model Ute bodies, and I've added pressings in the same form that they have done in the late 1930s to keep this whole pressing and artistic and strengthening detail alive on the Ford. I've also added strengthening ribs in here, which no one will see when the car is built, but when we look at the car underneath and things like that, we'll see all this beauty of all these things. So I'm going to do the same thing up here on the side here. So I've decided I'm going to put X's in. I'll make a slightly smaller one down here at the bottom and a larger one further up the panel, and that will be visible until we put upholstery in the car. It'll get rid of any drumming in the panel. Sometimes a big flat panel will have a bit of acoustic noise that will drum through the car. So not only will this pressing in here look like it was designed for a 1934 Ford, but it will be functional as well. When you take any panel and do a lot of artwork in it, for want of a better word, quite often it will change the edge of the panel. So getting back to the sequence of making it, if I make my tooling, put these lines into here that I want to, do the work I have to do in here, I might find that this folded edge down the front here gets pulled in a little bit. So if that's the case, and I have gone ahead on this panel that I'm not 100% happy with, I can then address that. I can start with a new sheet of metal and start by putting these into it before the panel has actually had the final trim to size and before we put the right angle fold on the end of it. We also will know if it's going to pull this edge or that edge, but I don't think it will. I think the only one that will be in danger will be this one down here. Also, it gives me a very accurate template to mark out the new panel should I choose to go that way. Now, as always, the challenge with this car is to build an all-steel replica and get rid of all the coach building aspect of it, but we will be lining it with the original wooden boards like it had originally in the back, so that it just appears to be like the car was built in 1934. I'm Rob Teal. Thank you very much for watching. You know what you have to do. Hit the subscribe button. Please share our video. Give us a thumbs up if you've liked it. Give us a thumbs down if you don't like it. We'll try harder next time. Thanks guys. See you next time.